All right, let's jump right in. We're talking about a massive shift in how we do healthcare. It's called telemedicine, and it's gone from being this kind of niche thing to a huge part of modern medicine. So today we're going to break down how this digital house call is solving some really old problems, but also creating some brand new challenges and, completely reshaping the future of care.
I mean, just think about that for a second. No more morning traffic, no more sitting in a waiting room, no more burning half a day of PTO for a 15-minute appointment. What if getting top-notch medical advice was as easy as just opening your laptop? This isn't science fiction anymore. For millions of people, it's actually becoming the new normal. But to really get why this is such a game changer, we have to look at the huge problem it's trying to fix.
One of the biggest, oldest hurdles in healthcare has always been simple: access. Just getting to the doctor. For so many people, it's not just an inconvenience, it can be a massive barrier that literally stops them from getting the care they need. And this gap gets even bigger when you look at the difference between cities and more rural communities.
And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about here, get this. Nearly 1 out of every 5 Americans lives in a rural area. That is a huge chunk of the population that is consistently facing a much, much longer journey to get, pretty much everything, from a basic checkup to highly specialized treatment.
And believe me, these roadblocks are very real. The average travel time is almost 24 minutes one way. About a third of folks in these areas say the wait times to even see a doctor are just too long, and for more than half, just finding transportation or the time to go is a major barrier. Think about that. And for really specialized care, like cancer treatments, patients might have to drive across state lines. The key thing to understand here is that these aren't just little annoyances. They are systemic problems that have a direct, negative impact on people's health.
So, with a problem that big, what's the solution? Well, this is where the digital house call comes in. Technology is finally stepping up to bridge these gaps, to deliver care directly to patients, no matter where they are.
Okay, so before we go any further, let's just clear something up really quick, because you hear these two words, telehealth and telemedicine, thrown around all the time. Think of telehealth as the giant umbrella. It covers everything: patient education, provider training, even administrative meetings. Now, telemedicine is a specific tool under that umbrella. It's all about the actual clinical services. A doctor diagnosing your rash over a video call. For our purposes today, we are zeroing in on telemedicine.
And the benefits here are just powerful. Right off the bat, telemedicine smashes through those geographic barriers we were just talking about. It offers incredible convenience, saving you time and money on travel. It helps different doctors on your care team coordinate better, and it can lead to huge cost savings for both patients and the healthcare system as a whole. It can even provide super fast guidance in an emergency, which could literally save a life before an ambulance even arrives.
And you can really see this play out in a field like mental health. The results from one study were pretty incredible. Patient satisfaction was high, an 8.2 out of 10. And get this, the treatment adherence rate was 92%. That's probably because it's just so much easier to keep an appointment when it's on your laptop. On top of that, patients saved about an hour of travel time for every single session, and the total cost was almost 40% cheaper than seeing a therapist in person. I mean, that's just a clear win-win.
But it's not just the patients who are benefiting. This quote from a physician really hits home. They said, after a decade burning out in a chaotic emergency department, telemedicine gave them a way to step back, to find a better balance. It fundamentally improved their own mental health. That's a really crucial benefit that we don't talk about enough.
But of course, no big revolution comes without its challenges. And while telemedicine has all this incredible promise, rolling it out on a massive scale has definitely exposed some major growing pains and some hidden hurdles that we've got to figure out. And maybe the biggest hurdle of all is something called the digital divide. It's a cruel irony, really. The very technology that's supposed to make healthcare more accessible can become a brand new barrier. If you don't have good, reliable internet, or you can't afford a smartphone, or you just don't have the tech skills to navigate these platforms, you get left behind. And this is the critical point. If we're not careful, telemedicine could actually make healthcare inequality even worse. And when you look at the major ethical concerns, one thing just screams out at you: data privacy. 40%. The biggest question is, how in the world do we keep all this sensitive health information safe? Right behind that is equitable access, that digital divide we just talked about. And then you've got real challenges around getting proper informed consent and navigating a very complicated legal landscape. And yeah, that legal web, it is a tangled mess. For example, a doctor who's licensed to practice in Texas can't just have a virtual visit with a patient in California.
Who's liable if something goes wrong? And how do doctors make sure every single virtual call is compliant with really strict privacy laws like HIPAA? These are not easy questions to answer, and they create massive logistical headaches.
Which brings us to what might be the most practical problem of them all, the money. I mean, for this whole thing to work long-term, doctors and hospitals have to get paid for their time. But how that actually happens? Well, that's a whole other can of worms. So here's the deal. For government payers like Medicare and Medicaid, the rules are all over the place, and they're constantly changing. And with private insurance, the reimbursement is often lower for a virtual visit than an in-person one. One study found it was 36% less. So the bottom line is, this inconsistency makes it really tough financially for a lot of clinics to go all in on telemedicine.
So, okay, despite all those hurdles, where is this all going? Well, the momentum is just undeniable, and the vision for the future is ambitious, it's integrated, and it's pretty darn exciting.
I think this vision is just perfectly captured by the motto of the American Telemedicine Association: health, virtually, everywhere. It's simple, but it's such a powerful statement. The goal is to make quality healthcare accessible to every single person, no matter where they live, using technology.
So let's just imagine what this future could actually look like for you. Your patient journey might start with an AI algorithm analyzing your symptoms before you even talk to a person. A voice assistant, kind of like Alexa, could handle all the scheduling and take notes for you. The data from your smartwatch would be feeding your doctor your vital signs in real time. And your treatment might involve things like virtual reality for physical therapy, or even a surgeon using augmented reality to guide a procedure from 1,000 miles away.
And the technologies that are going to power this future, they're already starting to emerge. We're talking about super fast 5G connectivity that gets rid of lag, remote robotics that will allow for complex surgeries from anywhere, using big data to create hyper-personalized medicine just for you. Things like blockchain could finally solve that data security problem. And we'll see specialized apps that are actually prescribed by doctors like medicine. We call them digital therapeutics.
But amidst all this incredible futuristic technology, we need a dose of reality. And this quote from a physician is such a powerful reminder of that. The hope is that all this tech is just a tool, that it adds to great medical care, instead of subtracting from the things that are really essential. You know, the doctor-patient relationship, empathy, and a good, thorough physical examination.
And really, that leaves us with one last, massive question to think about. As we race towards this very digital future, we have to decide what we want it to look like. Technology can solve for distance and efficiency, but it can't solve for everything. So, as our healthcare becomes more and more virtual, what are the core, irreplaceable parts of medicine that we have to fight to make sure always remain human?